Welcome to the Ballyhaunis Golf Club Masters Fundraiser 2020. Thank you to everybody who entered this competition throughout the week, and we look forward to 4 days of great golf on TV. Paul is going to draw the members that entered, and I will draw the corresponding assigned player for that person. So Paul, you can go ahead and draw your member.
First name out, our resident Blondings, Michael Lyons.
And he gets Webb Simpson, who was a runner-up last year in the Masters, I believe.
Next name out, competitor of ours, driving for Home Care Medical, Mr. David Burke.
Draws Max Homa.
And next from the list, young Agassi, Brian Phillips.
Draws a player that he likes, Gary Woodland.
Next out, great young prospect, Austin Lyons.
Draws a player who he kind of looks like, Ian Poulter.
Next out of the hat, an old young guy, Dominic O'Donoghue.
Draws Ches Reevy, the pocket rocket.
Next out of the hat, our extremely fantastic competition secretary, David Hannon.
Draws a former winner in Zach Johnson.
Our first lady out, Anne Curley.
She's a nice pick here, Xander Schauffele.
Next from the lunchbox, oh, look who it is, Eugene Lannon.
Eugene Lannon draws Matthew Wolfe.
Oh, lovely, Eugene. Lovely gesture. Next out is our king of Ballyhaunis, Shane Buckley.
Draws Nick Taylor.
Next from the pot, Porrick Duffy Jr.
Porrick Duffy Jr. has a lovely one here in Bryson DeChambeau.
Good man, Porrick. Next out, a man that has 450 million in his bank account, Tom McGrogan.
Tom McGrogan draws a nice player again, Colin Morikawa.
And another young lady, young Jenny Glynn.
Draws Abraham Answer.
Next out, our resident painter, Dotfish Murphy.
Draws another painter in Justin Harding.
Next from the list is our young protege's father, Johnny Burke.
Johnny Burke draws the Iceman, the Swede, Henrik Stenson.
Out of the lunchbox, Tom Flannelly.
And Tom Flannelly draws Brant Snedeker.
Next, and a more man, our captain for 2021, Kevin Garvey.
Kevin Garvey has a nice one here in Adam Scott, former winner.
Next out, a man from Anna, John Dillon.
John Dillon draws Billy Horschel.
Jumping out of the box next is the king's mother, Kay Buckley.
Kay Buckley has a nice one here, lefty Phil Mickelson.
Next out, a lady that works extremely hard for Eugene Lannon, Patricia Fitzgerald.
Has one of the favourites here in Dustin Johnson.
Next out, our man works very hard every day, Packy Waldron.
Packy Waldron draws Larry Mize.
Couldn't have picked it any better, Packy Faith. Next out,
Sorry, Packy.
John Coyne.
John Coyne has Bernd Weisberger. That's a stone.
Next out from Laverley Row, PJ Moore.
Eric Van Ruyen.
Another young man, want to get him back golfing whenever he can, Robert J. Duffy.
Robert Duffy, Sandy Lyle.
Another extremely hard-working lady in our club, Mariette Potgieter.
Mariette draws the Irish amateur James Subaru.
Next out, Swift to Cussy, Seamus Swift.
Seamus Swift draws Andy Ogletree. I don't know what he's playing.
Next out, our captain for 2020, and a great year that he had with all the crack that was going on, Porrick Duffy.
Porrick Duffy draws Yuxin Lin.
Next out, another young lady, Mary Freely.
Mary Freely has Lucas Glover.
Not bad, Mary. Next out, a man that was second in a couple of our majors this year, Kevin Kilbride.
Kevin Kilbride draws Corey Connors.
Next out of the lunchbox, a guy, if you're looking for planning permission, give him a call in Mayo County Council. Barry works extremely hard down there for us all. Barry Freeman.
And Barry has drawn a former Masters champion in Jose Maria Olazabal.
A lady who's returned to golf this year, Anne Cugnon.
Anne Cugnon has Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Next from the lunchbox, we call him the Hulk, Dennis Hogan.
Draws another tall man in Matt Kuchar.
Next out, our own lefty, Liam Linsky.
Liam Linsky is a nice one here. Rory McIlroy.
Ooh, Liam, top of the pile. Next out we have the sniper, Seamus Cox.
Seamus Cox has drawn a former champion in Danny Willett.
Next out, the sunshine himself, Ty Buckley.
Okay, Ty has drawn Christian Besweetenhout.
Every chance, Tig, every chance. Next out is Tig's daughter-in-law, the King's wife, Olivia Buckley.
The Queen. The Queen has drawn Andrew Putnam.
The Queen, I like that one, Carlos. Next out, the singer himself, John P.X. Kelly.
JPX has a nice one here in Tyrrell Hatton. Great form at the moment.
Another one out, I think Catherine, a lot of competition she's won this year. Probably something she's looking to win again, Catherine Johnston.
Okay, Catherine Johnston has Jazz Janawatan.
Very well pronounced, Carlos.
That's his name.
Our first Rossi out, I think, is it at this stage? David Doherty.
David has drawn the Nordy, Gray McDowell.
Next out, Chris Kane.
Chris Kane, Sung Kang.
We jump out here to our lady captain's father, Jackie Coyne.
Jackie Coyne has drawn a nice player here in Brooks Koepka, runner-up last year.
Lovely Jackie. Lovely gesture. So out of next we have my brother-in-law, Shane Ganley.
Shane Ganley has drawn a man who was leading this last year and then blew up on 15, but this year might be his year. Francesco Molinari.
Oh, lovely. Couple more ladies coming at you fairly fast. We've Mary Cugnon.
Former Masters champion Vijay Singh.
Next out, our all-star from Ballyhaunis, Keith Higgins.
Keith has drawn Shugo Imahira.
Lovely.
Shugo.
Next out, lovely lady, Isha Fahy.
Isha has drawn Tommy Fleetwood.
Lovely draw there.
Nice one there, yeah.
Next out, good young guy, lots of potential, Oisin Henry.
Oisin Henry has drawn Ricky Fowler.
Oh, Oisin, a lovely
Nice one there, Oisin, yeah.
Next out, good old Anto Cugnon.
Anto Cugnon has drawn Victor Perez.
Come down to, I think we have another 45 to go, Carol, roughly.
Something like that, yeah.
Up pops Fred Astaire, Freddie Hare.
Brendan Todd.
Next out of the hat, very good golfer, this guy, John Jordan.
John Jordan has drawn a former Masters champion who birdied the last 4 holes to win. So Charles Schwartzel.
Next out of the hat, personal friends with Gerald McGarry, Gareth Delaney.
Draws Cameron Smith.
Next out, our own Tiger, Tig Morley.
Tig Morley draws C.T. Pan.
Another young man, Liam Cugnon.
Liam Cugnon draws Leroy Westwood.
The main man round the place, owns half the town, Marty Kane.
Marty Kane draws Matt Wallace.
Oh, next up, our treasurer for the year and the next 5 years, that will probably turn into 10 years because nobody else will do his job, young robot Tobes Jennings.
Has a nice draw here in Justin Rose.
Next out, Fred Astaire's wife, Siobhan Hare.
Siobhan draws Adam Hadwin. Outsider.
Next out, another resident Rossi. Good old Squeakers.
Squeakers.
Martin McDermott.
Squeakers has a good one here. World number 2. John Ram.
We picked that one for you, didn't we, Squeak? Next out, Noodles. Noodle Fitzgerald.
Draws Paul Casey.
Have you ever drawn it?
No.
No, I
No.
don't. Next out,
Oh.
extremely hard worker in the golf club over the last number of years, Ja Henry.
Ja Henry draws the British Open champion Shane Lowry.
Next out, new golfer over the last couple of years. Enjoys his few pints, his few gin and tonics. Christopher Regan Rush.
Chris has a nice draw here in Hideki Matsuyama.
Next out, former lady captain, Mary Lyons.
Mary Lyons, nice one here. Tony Finau, Horst Sutton.
Next out of the hat, Patrick J. Morn.
Patrick J. Moore has drawn Lucas Mitchell. Lucas Mitchell.
Next out, lovely lady, Phil Glynn.
Phil Glynn draws Scotty Scheffler. Ooh, nice one here.
Former President's winner, I think, last year, Dermot Finnegan.
Dermot draws Patrick Cantley.
Next out of the hat, good looking guy, Connor Freely.
Connor Freely draws Byung Hun An.
Next out of the biscuit tin, Fiona Printy.
Draws Jason Coprath.
Coming out next is our lady captain from 2020, Maria Campbell.
Maria Campbell draws Tyler Duncan.
Coming out all over the place is Robbie Hughes.
Draws Dylan Fratelli.
Next out, Tom O'Boyle.
Tom O'Boyle draws Rafa Cabrera Bello.
Great lady from around the golf club. Next year's captain, lady captain, Norrie Dillon.
Norrie draws Kevin Kistner.
Next out of the biscuit tin, former lady captain, Claire Lannon.
Draws Si Woo Kim.
Popping out next, Michael Horn.
Michael draws Lanto Griffin.
Up next, young Marcin Finnegan.
And Marcin Finnegan draws... Jesus, who's this lad? John Augenstein. John Augenstein.
Next out, young guy back to golf this year, super potential, Paul Finn.
Paul Finn, Sebastian Munoz.
Next out, extremely tough competitor, enjoys his few pints, Tom Dillon.
Tom Dillon has a good draw here. Justin Thomas.
Next out, one of our nicest ladies around the golf club, Joan Maguire.
Joan has a good one here in Patrick Reed.
Oh, and next out, the lady herself, who's retiring at the end of this year, done Trojan work in the past for us, Margaret Dyer.
Draws Jimmy Walker.
Oh, look what's coming. The man that's down to the banner, looking for an All-Ireland title with Clare, Ownsy Collins.
Ownsy draws Abel Gallegos. Abel Gallegos.
Next out, the man that's running the credit unions in this country for us, John Doyle.
John Doyle draws the big hitting lefty Bubba Watson.
Next out, we have one of the Phillipses, Mike Phillips.
Mike Phillips draws Sungjae Im, Mr. Butler.
Next out, a man that's working extremely hard on COVID-19 for 2020, Carlos Coyne.
Draws Jordan Spieth. His golf's a bit like mine at the moment.
Out next, great competitor, super match player, Emmett Kane.
Emmett draws Andrew Landry.
Jumping up out of nowhere, Marcin Kilbride.
Marcin has drawn the defending champion Tiger Woods.
Lovely march. Next out, Rucci himself, Liam Rochford.
And Rucci has drawn Kevin Na.
Next out, wonderful young man, loves driving around the course with young Mooney, Bill Maxwell.
Bill has drawn Nate Lashley.
Next out, man recovering from a hip operation in the past couple of weeks, Loftus, Kevin Henry.
Loftus has drawn another man with a couple of new hips, Freddie Boom Boom, Freddie Couples.
Next out of the hat, or biscuit tin, or box, whatever you want to call it, Patricia Grogan.
Patricia has drawn former Masters champion Mike Weir.
Next out, former Miss Ireland, Miss World, Miss Universe, Mary Kelly.
Mary Kelly has drawn Jason Day.
Next out, our announcer, our MC, John Mooney.
John Mooney has drawn JT Poston.
We're down to the last few, Carlos.
Yeah, I'm forward up here.
I'm in here myself. Next out, your mother, Carol, does all his ironing, washing, cooking, cleaning, Marina Coyne.
I wish I had good news for you, but Bernard Langer.
Bernie.
Bernie Langer.
Next out, our junior convener, done extremely great work this year, Shane Freeman.
Shane Freeman has drawn Charles Howell III.
Popping out next, not sure if he's a young guy or an old guy, Pat Flynn.
Pat has drawn Mark Leishman. Usually goes well around there. Up one left.
Next out, the guy that's looking to turn pro, hoping to play in the Masters someday, Andrew Hickey.
Has drawn another big hitter, Cameron Champ.
Next out of the Busker Brewsker, myself, Paul Hickey.
Draws Sung Kang.
Lovely gesture, Carlos. Thank you kindly. Next out again, sniper, Seamus Cox.
Seamus Cox. Danny Willett.
Popping up again, young Emmett, Kane.
Tony Finau.
Up we pop again, she was up a while ago, Mary Lyons.
Mary Lyons. Bernd Weisberger.
Out comes young Hanley, Shane Ganley.
Shane Ganley has drawn Louis Oosthuizen.
Next out, Deirdre Regan.
Deirdre Regan has drawn Lanto Griffin.
Up we come again, Carlos.
Andrew Putnam. Jesus.
You're laughing.
Yeah.
Up we come next, our president for this year, for 2020, you know, Tom Maguire.
Draws Francesco Molinari.
Out we pop next, Patsy Glynn.
Patsy has drawn Jason Day.
Oh, here we go again, Paul Hickey.
Paul Hickey draws Brendan Todd.
Thanks be to God, Carlos. Todd is going to win it. Young Gannon, David Hannon.
David Hannon. Scotty Scheffler.
Anne Freely.
Rory McIlroy.
Down to the last few, John Jordan.
John Jordan. Mark Leishman.
Norrie Dillon.
Nari. Paul Casey.
Maria Campbell.
I'll try and get you a good one now, Maria. Has drawn Shane Lowry.
Very good. And last but not least, is this the King's young buck or his nephew?
This is young buck. The Prince.
Sean.
Prince.
Sean the Prince Buckley.
Draws Dustin Johnson.
Thanks very much, guys. We'd like just to give a shout out again to all the members who contributed to this fundraiser. Your money is going to a worthy cause. We have to keep our course maintained, as you all know, week to week, with our greens, our fairways, the constant work that Jonathan Kieran and the Foss guys do down there. Thank you all very much. It's very much appreciated. It goes towards paying a cost week to week for us. It's not easy during these times, as you know, so your money won't go to waste. I'd like to also thank Carl for coming up with the great idea. It's hard to keep coming up with very good ideas from time to time, but Carl is one of those guys that keeps coming out with them. Also to Shane Buckley and David Hannon on the work they do in the background, especially with setting up Clubnet for us. Thanks guys, and good luck to everyone in the draw. May the best man or lady or farmer or something else win.
Thanks very much.